We have 3 straight days of enhanced severe weather risk zones. You can see today, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we have a slight risk for severe weather out across portions of the Mid-Atlantic and New England on Friday. And then Saturday, we have another slight risk for severe weather in the plains. So a lot of severe weather to talk about. We also have a lot of cold air on the way. You can see here from June 14th to June 18th, the Climate Prediction Center is expecting a big cool down for the center of the country, and that extends all the way out to June 22nd. Precipitation-wise, a lot of rainfall for these regions as well, except for the Northwest is going to be pretty dry and warm. And then we also have a couple tropical storms down here in the Pacific. You can see them on radar right here. Now, these are likely just to fall apart, but we're going to see if some of the remnants wants to float its way up into the Gulf and potentially try to spin up into some sort of tropical cyclone. Right now, there's a few models pointing out the possibility of this happening, but there's not a ton of model consensus on it. It's June 9th, 2026. Let's get into all the updates. Starting with today, here's our risk zones. You can see we have a large marginal slight and enhanced risk zone, actually a split enhanced. This is new this morning. We now have it enhanced down here through portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. If we take a look at our tornado threat today, large 2, 5, and 10% tornado risk. That hatched region or SIG-1 region where we could see significant tornadoes, EF2 plus, encompasses portions of Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and then western Minnesota. And that 10% hatch region is up here through portions of central and eastern North Dakota. So make sure you have your alerts on if you're out in this region today. Large wind threat today. This 5% wind threat extends all the way from northeastern Montana down into Tennessee, but the most significant area is going to be through portions of the northern panhandle of Texas all the way up through the Dakotas and northern Minnesota here. And then you can see we have this 45% SIG-1 risk for damaging winds today up through portions of South Dakota and North Dakota. Getting into our hail threat today, similar area to where that wind risk is, at least the SIG-1. So where we could see significant hail, we're talking 2, 3+ inch hail is going to be through portions of the Dakotas and Nebraska. Let's push on to day 2. I'm going to break down each of these risk zones a little bit more, but right now I just want to go over kind of the general threat. This is our day 2 risk zone. Obviously a very large marginal stretching from portions of Texas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, all the way out through the Mid-Atlantic, which I'm actually surprised to see that we do have this marginal all the way out here tomorrow. You can see a large slight and a large enhanced region as well. I do think tomorrow could go moderate, just like I think today could possibly end up being upgraded to moderate. Here's our tornado risk for tomorrow. So you can see a large 2%, but we also have that 5 to 10% SIG-1 risk for tornadoes tomorrow. So for damaging tornadoes, Minneapolis, Des Moines, and Davenport are in that 5% SIG-1, just outside of that 10% risk zone. Tomorrow, again, this could be upgraded. We have a significant wind risk tomorrow as well. You can see portions of eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, most of Wisconsin, and then eastern Minnesota. We have that 15 to 30% SIG-1 risk for damaging winds, and then that 5% stretches all the way from Texas all the way out through the Mid-Atlantic. And then the hail threat for tomorrow, you can see we have a large SIG-1 that includes a lot of big cities like Wichita, Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, Davenport, Minneapolis, Duluth. You can see, again, that 5% stretches all the way out from the Mid-Atlantic down to Texas. Let's take a look at our day 3. Again, a large marginal risk stretching from Texas all the way out to the Mid-Atlantic, but this is focused over portions of Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. That's where our enhanced risk is. And you can see the probabilistic. We already have a 30% SIG-1 risk across this region as well. That does include St. Louis. You're right on the edge there. Davenport, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Milwaukee. So a lot of major cities in there as well. Getting into our day 4 risk, this is Friday. You can see we have portions of Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. A lot of major cities in here: Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New York. So this is going to affect a lot of people as well. And then, as I said, as we get into day 5, the severe risk transfers back over to the plains. Now, along with the severe weather, we're going to have the chance for excessive rainfall. You can see these marginal and slight excessive rainfall risk zones today. Portions of the Ohio Valley up through the Great Lakes region, the upper Midwest. Then we get into day 2, same regions experiencing a lot of rainfall. Day 3, this fills in through portions from the southern plains up through the Great Lakes region and the Midwest. And then day 4, the same area as well. So really the center of the country is just going to be receiving a lot of rainfall over the next 4 to 5 days. There's obviously going to be the chance for some flash flooding in these areas. As I said earlier, a big cool down's coming. This is June 14th to June 18th. This is June 16th to June 22nd, so the center of the country. And I actually want to show you this. If we take a look at the latest Euro model, and this is the temperature anomalies, you can see as we get out towards the 11th, so this would be this Thursday, we start to see some cooler air moving in through the northern Rockies, through the northern plains, pushing down through the central U.S. We continue to push out, and we get another significant trough that brings in 20 to potentially even 30 degrees below average air down into the center of the country. You can see if we zoom in here into portions of Kansas and Oklahoma, we're 24 degrees below average. This is around June 14th, according to the latest Euro. We continue to move forward, and you can see up here, this would be around June 15th, through portions of South Dakota, Nebraska, we're 20 to 25 degrees below average. So a lot of cool air is expected to funnel into the center of the country. And we just continue to see this cold air moving in. Here you go. Rapid City, 23 degrees below average. Now, this is just a model, of course. We don't know if this is exactly what we're going to see, but we do know that there's a pretty amplified and robust trough that wants to dig into the center of the country, bringing a big, big cool down. Look at this out towards June 19th. Temperatures get really, really cold out here. We're talking 24, 25 degrees below average. So like I said, a large cool down likely coming for the center of the country. But if you notice, the west and east coast remain pretty warm throughout most of this time frame. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with our tropical systems. Tropical Storm Boris, Tropical Storm Christina, not much happening. They're pretty weak. They're likely going to make landfall in Central America. Not packing too heavy of winds. Obviously, they're tropical storms, but they could bring some flooding concerns. Taking a look at the latest GFS, it does actually expect Christina to move west and strengthen potentially into a Category 1, Category 2 hurricane before moving back up to the north and east and potentially making landfall in San Salvador, Central America. Now, what I'm watching is, are these remnants going to push up into the Gulf? Are we going to see a tropical low float up here into the southwestern Gulf? You can actually see this on the latest GFS. Some tropical moisture, some convection pushing up into the southwestern Gulf. This would be this Saturday, and you can see that low trying to spin, but not really getting itself together. So if we actually went back and took a look at the OOZ, let's see if the 00Z sees something similar, that tropical convection moving up into the southwestern Gulf, but nothing really getting its act together. So right now we're looking pretty good, close to home. I'm not really expecting any immediate tropical activity. All right, so what's going on with our severe weather? Well, here's today. Here's our 500 millibar jet, and it's looking pretty nice. You can see the short waves developing here over the Dakotas and over Nebraska. You can also see some short waves developing down here. So a nice 500 millibar jet. We take a look at the 850, and look at that. This is cranking. I think, actually, now that I say it, I'm pretty sure in my video yesterday, I said that we might have an upgrade down here because of what we were seeing at the 500 millibar and especially with the 850 millibar jet. So I'm glad that I caught that, because we did get that upgrade to an enhanced down here in Kansas and portions of western Oklahoma. You can see our 850 jet really cranking down here, really cranking up here. These are the two areas where I think especially watching a significant tornado threat up here. The 10% SIG 1 through portions of North Dakota. I think that might even be upgraded. And then again, we've got that elevated risk down here in Kansas and Oklahoma now as well. So an impressive mid-level and an impressive LLJ, low-level jet today in these areas. Taking a look at, we don't even need to look at instability. We know we have plenty of instability. Let's take a look at the updraft helicity reflectivity. Now, interestingly enough, the HRRR isn't really seeing much today. When it comes to updraft helicity tracks, we're not getting much. Some right up here, down here, some up here through portions of central to northern North Dakota, southern Manitoba. But overall, it's looking pretty weak just based on the updraft helicity reflectivity, which is, that's not what we really want to make our forecast off of. Obviously, the shear looks pretty impressive. We know we have a ton of instability. The Rufus is putting something together that looks a little bit more impressive. Southern Manitoba, southeastern Saskatchewan, and then down here through portions of western Kansas. But even the Rufus, I would say this is quite a downtrend. Potentially an impressive supercell trying to form out there today near Garden City, Liberal, Dodge City, Hayes. We'll have to see. Again, this is a model, so you don't want to look exactly where these cells are firing off, because again, models are taking the data we have now, but they're still looking into the future, so they're never going to be perfect. But yeah, quite a downtrend on the reflectivity, I have to say today. What we should take from this is storms do look like they're going to fire off and intensify likely around 5 or 6 p.m. So get ready late afternoon, early evening across portions of the plains, really from the southern plains all the way up through the northern plains, western Oklahoma, I would say even central Oklahoma out west, all the way up through Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. Quite a downtrend though, if just taking a look at the reflectivity. This is new, I would say, getting into around 1 or 2 a.m., a little bit of a, I would say MCS begins to form out here through portions of Iowa and southwestern Minnesota and begins to move north. A lot of updraft helicity tracks in here. So that'll be interesting. Maybe a little bit of a nocturnal threat up there through portions of Iowa, eastern South Dakota, and southern Minnesota. Let's push over now and let's take a look at Wednesday. And I want to take a look at the upper air pattern first, getting into the 500 millibar, and a nice 500 millibar. And here's our shortwave troughs developing across Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota as we get into Wednesday. Taking a look at the lower level 850 and 950. significant shear, especially down here, which is surprising. I thought this would be a little bit further up to the north, but pretty good low-level jet. As you can see, let's look at the 500, 850, some converging winds out here as well. I think most of the convergence is happening right in this area, portions of northeastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. Taking a look at the updraft helicity, and we'll take a look at the Rufus. Potentially, as we get into around 4 or 5 p.m., we have a pretty decent-looking MCS trying to push through Milwaukee, Chicago. You can see northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. We push a little bit further out as we get towards 6 p.m., significant storms beginning to fire off through portions of northern Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, and central to eastern Iowa. Now, we're not seeing any of these storms fire off near Minneapolis, so that's quite interesting as well. Is there going to be some capping? Is this because our short waves are a little bit further to the south now? Interesting developments on the Rufus, but this is a pretty decent MCS developing through portions of central to eastern Iowa as we get into early to mid-evening tomorrow. That ends up pushing into northern Illinois and then down through central Illinois and out towards Chicago tomorrow night. So that's something to watch. Let's see if our HRRR sees something similar here and kind of just dodges Minneapolis. Getting into around 3, 4, 5, and you can see, so the HRRR is actually throwing some convection up here, and you can see some updraft helicity tracks across eastern Minnesota from Duluth all the way down through Minneapolis down to Rochester, Minnesota. So the HRRR doesn't quite think that we're just going to have a clear air up here through portions of central to southern Minnesota. They're not agreeing at all, the HRRR and Rufus. So we're going to have to continue to watch as these models update, because I need a little bit more model consensus. Again, taking a look at what's happening, I notice our short waves are a little bit further to the south, taking a look at our upper and lower air patterns. So we'll see what happens as we get more updates. Now let's push over to Thursday, and central to eastern Iowa, again, could see some significant storms Thursday, and then out towards Chicago as well. Look at that. A significant, again, MCS developing, pushing through northern Illinois out towards Chicago. If you're up in northern Illinois, central, eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, this is going to be a busy couple days for you guys, Wednesday and Thursday. So, and then eventually this pushes off to the south, and we'll get potentially St. Louis out through Indianapolis down to Springfield involved as we get late into Thursday night. And then getting into Friday, again, we're going to be watching what's happening out here, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow. So again, here's 4 straight days of severe weather ahead of us. Make sure you stay updated. I won't be live streaming tonight. I should be back live streaming tomorrow and Thursday, though. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload a new video or anytime I go live. I also run an awesome weather Discord with all the information I talk about in these videos. All the weather information you could want is updated in that Discord every day, from temperatures to severe weather outlooks, winter weather, tropical activity. All that stuff is in the Discord. You can join the Discord. It's completely free. Just click the link right down below in the description box, or just add Connor's Climate Corner on Discord. I'll accept your friend request and make you a part of the Climate Crew. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the live stream on Wednesday. See you guys.